Our special guest is Tommy Mitchell, a local artist who truly has music in his blood and poetry in his soul. He shares with us stories about the great performers he met as a child traveling on the road with his father's band, what it was like to perform as the lead singer of the iconic band Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the legends he worked with throughout his career, and his memories witnessing music history in the making. Tommy, thank you so much for having us here in your home today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Glad to have you here.
And we've had a wonderful history together. I think I've known you now for 8 years. And you've been so gracious in performing at our events for our PBS station here locally, and our audience just loves you. And so we gave you the award in 2011 as the Legendary Artist Award recipient, and people just were so happy to hear your voice and hear your story. Today, I really wanted our audience, who hasn't had the opportunity to meet you, to really get to know you and your musical roots. So I really thank you for taking the time to be with us.
It's my pleasure, thanks.
And you grew up, obviously, in a musical family. I know your mom, Simi, was a soprano, an operatic soprano, and your dad was a musician. He played the trombone, and they met at Juilliard. So tell us a little bit about your beginning years and how really music has always been in your blood.
Sure, yeah. My beginning was before I was born. You know, they not only met there, but they married there.
Right.
And right from college, my father went off with a couple of bands. He went off with Stan Kenton and with the Tex Beneke Band. And in fact, in the Tex Beneke Band was Edie Gourmet was the kid singer in those days.
Wow.
And my mother went off with the she went off with the Ted Lewis Orchestra. And if people don't remember Ted Lewis, he used to do a song called Me and My Shadow.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And he would go, "Is everybody happy?" And he would have the old top hat and the cane. He was a bit of a showman, not so much a singer. But now my mother was an operatic soprano, but my father encouraged her to audition, and he was right, because she got the job as the singer with the Ted Lewis Orchestra.
Wow.
So they were on different buses and different tours, and but of course they must have gotten together somewhere, because here I am.
Here you are, exactly. and being, really born into a musical family, it was like a built-in Einstein baby. Today, people listen to the, beautiful music, and you had it from, the very beginning. So music is certainly, you were born with it.
Yeah, they would bring me in a basket, laundry basket, into the studio and do their recording sessions, because they didn't have a babysitter. So I could sleep through it. Babies can sleep through anything, apparently.
Oh, that's very true.
So the big band is playing, and the singing and the soloing, and that's what I was fed on.
But like a built-in lullaby. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
But your mom really gave up her career, and you and your mom went on the road with your dad.
Yes.
And he really performed, music for all the wonderful variety shows. Tell us about some of those shows.
Well, first of all, it was Sid Caesar. That was NBC.
Right.
Went to work on the Sid Caesar show, and he also got to work on The Voice of Firestone. These were the variety shows of that day. And after that was the Jimmy Dean show, and then finally the Dick Cavett show, where I actually had a chance to write music for the show as a kid.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So you were what? How old were you when that happened?
By the time that happened, I was about 15 or 16, and that got me involved in ASCAP. I was now an ASCAP writer, professional songwriter, and I was writing for the TV shows, the bumpers that they would, when they go to a commercial and come back from a commercial, the song you heard playing, a lot of times was mine.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
So music has always been in your family, and so when did you know that you actually had talent? When was, that moment that you realized, what, I have something here. This is going to be my life. Music is my life.
That's a good question. It's kind of like saying, when did you realize you needed to breathe? Right. For me, it was always such a part of our lives as a family unit, sitting around the piano sometimes, my father and I playing music together with him on the trombone. I was playing trumpet now too at a certain point, and we'd be playing duets. I guess I really didn't realize that I had talent. I realized that some other people didn't. I thought everybody
right. You thought everyone was musically inclined. Yeah. That's kind of funny because it was like walking to you and breathing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very natural.
Very natural.
And when other people told me, boy, you have a lot of talent. I remember being in that elementary school and doing a talent show. And I brought all my instruments with me. I played the guitar, and then I played the drums, and then I played, and and then I started to realize, I guess
you have something there.
Yeah, this is
well,
what I like.
you really, the reason your music is so diverse, I mean, you have that like soulful jazz, but then you also entered into the rock world because it was the 60s when you were growing up.
Yeah.
So you were on the road with a band. What age was that you started your own band?
Oh, it was the late 60s. I don't even remember. But it's funny, the band members didn't want me to sing. So I was not the singer. I was the drummer. And apparently it was too adult. My voice was
soulful,
too, for their straight rock and roll. And I didn't come up learning the 50s music because my mother kept me from that. And I was listening to Sinatra, and I was listening to a lot of jazz.
Tony Bennett, Nat King Cole, all those wonderful music that I just love.
Yes.
But hard to be in a rock band when you have that kind of going through your head.
But that was a little bit of rebellion. I was going to do my own thing.
Well,
that happened during the I guess junior high school age, and I started to make that music my own.
Well, you've always kind of done your own thing because your music is really very diverse, and you've written songs for commercials.
Yeah.
You've written scores for different artists and songs for different artists. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Your work in other genres, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I enjoyed doing was doing a lot of national TV commercials, and because the budgets were so big during that time, we would get artists that I would not really get to work with if it wasn't for those kinds of things. So I got to write for people like Leon Russell. These weren't great songs that I was writing jingles, but I was producing them. And later on, Michael Bolton, and I really can't think of everybody off the top of my head, but there's, every week it was someone new that
well, you performed with Phoebe Snow also.
I performed with Phoebe Snow, with Benny King, with Paul Schaefer in the band.
Recently with Steve Tyrell?
Just performed with Steve Tyrell earlier this year.
And we have a clip.
My friend, great Tommy Mitchell, is going to come up and do something for you. Come on, Tommy. You got it, brother.
When my life is over, remember when we were together, 'cause we're alone now, and I'm singing a song to you, singing a song for you.
Beautiful, just beautiful. That must have taken you back a little bit because here you are, you went through this whole career, and now it's kind of full circle with that, American standard songs. And how did that feel for you performing with Steve Tyrell?
It was a treat. Steve has such a way with an audience, and his cabaret show is so good. And he just happened to love the way I sing. And he said, I've got to share you with my audience, which was really magnanimous of him.
Well, you do have Tommy, for people who, if you haven't seen Tommy Mitchell in live, you need to hear his music, go to his website, because the music is just, your voice is still just great. Really, really incredible. Let's talk about some of the landmark moments in your career.
All right. Well, I think probably the highlight it was when I was asked to sing with Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah.
Because the background is, the band started in '68. I was still in school. And when I found out that the band members were co-workers with my father, bandmates on TV shows, and some of them I knew. from going to recording sessions with him. So now all of a sudden my father was very hip because this was a very big rock band. And I was in love with the sound of the voice of their singer, David Clayton Thomas. And he just had that soulful, it was just something that I really wanted to listen to all the time. And then realizing that now, years later, I was asked to replace him. I had developed that style of singing, and that's what felt good to me. It's a soulful, or what they like to refer to as blue-eyed soul. So it's a very R&B based, but pop sound. And the idea of working with horns, of course, I love horns. So when I got the call to work with them, it was such an honor for me because they were so established already.
Where were you when you got that call? Because I mean, I could just imagine this moment. You know, this is Tommy Mitchell getting a call to, you know, to be the lead singer for Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You have to say that was a landmark moment. Tell us, share where you were and who you screamed to first that this was happening.
I was in my little studio.
Yeah.
I was working on a project, and the phone rang, and it was a musician that I knew. And said, listen, we love how you sing. And they had just heard me do something. I was at the bitter end. Was I at the bitter end? I guess I was at the bitter end. And I'd just done a blues show. And they said, our next job coming up is in December, and we'd like you to be with us.
And what year was that?
That was
like 2007, I think it was 2007.
I'm
keeping tabs on you, you know. So.
Yeah. So I had a little bit of time to learn the songs because I didn't get a rehearsal with them.
Wow.
So band members kept sending me CDs because you couldn't learn it from the records because the charts are different for live. So I got some live recordings, and I learned the parts.
And the songs, everyone knows the songs. And you were really on their Asian tour at the time, right, as well?
Yes, did the Asian tour, and that was, what a great audience the Asians are. They loved us. We were monsters to them.
So that was a great moment in
that
time
really
for
was
you.
a highlight.
And this band is still going. I mean,
band
amazing
is still
now.
going
they
right
have
now.
Bo Bryce, who was one of the
wonderful. I'll tell you what. Of all, and there's been a bunch of lead singers, and I tell you, he's got a sound that is reminiscent of that original sound, and that's what I always want to hear. I want to hear the original sound. You know, like Journey, they have that kid who he sounds like Steve Perry.
Which is amazing. When you hear that performance.
Amazing.
So, favorite Blood, Sweat, and Tears song? What would that be?
Yeah, I think it would probably be God Bless the Child. I know everybody enjoys You Made Me So Very Happy. That was our closer. That was a great song to close with because we could tell the audience, thank you, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You made us so very happy. And then we could sing the song. And it was a great, wonderful way to close the show. So I did like that one too. But there wasn't any songs that the band did that I didn't like.
Right, you enjoyed all of them.
I enjoyed
And you
everything.
still play them, you know, locally here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's...
In fact, some of the band members I have used in my own band, similar representation of instruments. And we've done a couple of Blood, Sweat, and Tears tunes. It's a whole new band now, completely, brand new band from when I was with them. And there is quite an alumni. There's a bunch of musicians. It's a 9-piece band.
Right, so it's a big band.
It's a big band, and musicians will slide out. But for a lead singer, it's scarier you know, because that is the voice of the band.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think they did very well. The band is still owned by the original drummer, Bobby Colomby.
He's happy that Bo Bryce is singing.
Yes, he
I
is.
read an article about him, and he was
Yes.
saying he was very, very happy that he really represents the band well. And he was out of it for a little while, and then he came back, I think, because of Bo Bryce.
Yeah. Well, now he's always been at CBS Records. And what's interesting is when I was taking drum lessons, I would try to get to my drum teacher, Sonny Igo, quickly.
Sonny Igo was a very famous.
Sonny
tell
Igo.
people about him.
Sonny
if
Igo
they don't know who
was
he
the
is.
drummer with Woody Herman, with Benny Goodman, and then he did lots of TV, a lot of the work that my father did. They worked together over the years, but fantastic drummer that we lost recently. His son's a drummer too, Tommy Igo. And anyway, I would rush to the rehearsal, to the drum lesson, so that I could see the student before me come out, because it was Bobby Colomby, the drummer with blood, sweat,
Isn't that
and
so
tears.
strange how later on, you know, that is really quite incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Well, I think that your career has been so interesting because the industry has changed so much. I mean, it just, you know, let's talk about that a little, because you went from watching bands rehearse and unplugged music to really today's industry. How do you feel about the music industry today, and what does it take to have the making of a band, which we'll talk about that too, your documentary.
Yeah. Okay. I think the business has changed dramatically with MP3s and internet. It has taken its toll, really has taken its toll. What it has done, though, it has made bands start touring again, because they're not making the kind of money from sales, because so much music is being stolen, and it's difficult to prevent it. And it's a shame, because whether a band is making a lot of money or a little, they should be compensated for their work.
But it is amazing how you can have a small studio in your house and produce magic. So I'd like to go into your studio and really talk about some of your favorite songs, maybe even go through the music through the decades together. And I would love to do that. I think our audience would really like that.
Oh, great,
So let's go into the studio.
Studios have come so far and things have changed so much. I don't have to have a grand piano. I can have it from just the computer allows me to do that. So when I think of the original songs that I grew up on, it would be songs like from the 40s, like, and I think maybe the most definitive one would be, someday when I'm awfully low and the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight.
What a great song. Great song.
Great. I missed out on the 50s because my mother wanted me to get a background of all the classical, wonderful music of that era. So I went right into the 60s when I started, and of course that was the Beatles, and that it was so interesting to me because the Beatles were so ingenious in their design of songs, and they were simplistic too. But they would have a song like, sounds like I'm playing classical music. But all it is their song Blackbird, you know, which is a blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings, learn to fly all your life. You're only waiting for this moment to arrive. You know? Beautiful. It's amazing. And then, of course, the 70s came along, and there was a new instrument that everybody was using called the Fender Rhodes electric piano. And Stevie Wonder was the first one to make me sit up and take notice when he did this.
You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. Billy Joel did a similar thing using the Fender Rhodes, and it was with this song. Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before. I take the good times, I take the bad times, I'll take you just the way you are. And in the 90s, I recorded this song. It's a song that I wrote. It's called Sing, the Billy Joel song. Piano man, doing one-night stands in these dives again, and I'm dying, yeah. And I'd sell my soul to be Billy Joel, and I don't think I'll ever stop trying.
Oh, Tommy, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time. I'd spend the whole day with you if I could.
That'd be great.
But we're going to leave our audience with your song from your documentary, your award-winning documentary called The Making of a Band, and you performing Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. So
terrific.
Let's leave them with that.
I can't deny all the right romantic lines. But see me walk, see the way I feel. Don't discard me just because you think I'm doing you wrong. Because these cuts I